We see sustainability in a broader context as improving quality of life for all, and that's embedded in our university mission.
You know, looking back when we implemented our steam trap management system, I don't think any of us could have imagined what it would evolve into.
Since the inception of this program, which I think dates back to 1988, we have comfortably documented in excess of $4 million in savings.
The savings have been cumulative and incremental, and the more we do and the more diligence we show, the more money we save.
As this management program started going, the whole campus became quieter. There's nothing that gets management's interest quicker than a clanging steam trap in its conference room.
The myth is that it costs you a lot of money to get green. I'm here to tell you that you can save a lot of money being green.
It's really a dedication from the top down and the bottom up in an organization that has been our success here.
We've really done some very unique and important things on this, sort of path or journey to sustainability. And many of those we're enormously proud, like our steam trap initiatives. But we're really just at the beginning of the journey.
To see the program where it is today is, for me personally, just so satisfying. Being there in the beginning and then seeing where things were and the condition of it and the system. And it's just incredible payback and that we've received. Return on our investment in the system has paid off and continues to pay off.
WMU has a long history in its commitment to sustainability, mostly starting with energy conservation efforts started in the early 80s.
Our concern about steam usage and utility usage in general was driven by our financial situation in the early 80s when the state of Michigan went through a pretty significant recession. And so we began to look for ways to manage that utility demand.
We purchased our energy at the time from the state hospital-run power plant. And at the time we were purchasing nearly 90% of the output of that plant. And there are several major studies done at the time. What would if we were to build our own power plant, what would we need? And engineers who came on look at the study, look at the student population, projected growth, and we would need some major investments in generation equipment, new boilers, etc.
Prior to the 1988 and the start of the steam trap program, we were more of a reactionary firefighting type of trap program. When the trap failed, caused somebody some problems with water hammer, or we weren't getting good heat transfer or something like that, we reacted to the situation, and that was about all we ever did. So we were running around chasing failed traps and not being proactive in this situation.
The initial idea for the steam trap management program was both a top-down and a bottom-up initiative. The technical knowledge was possessed by all of our people within the facilities management division. You can't really expect us bean counters at the executive level to be fully engaged in all that. But we are very supportive. We understand the concept of being penny wise and pound foolish, so there was buy-in in both directions.
Anything significant like this that has some level of specialty, there has to be partnerships, has to be. The answer is not, do we take an outside firm to do it all? The answer is not to do it all in-house. The answer really is find those experts and bring them together and get the best of all minds together and work out a process and challenge each other. And we have challenged Armstrong to step up to do their part, and we've challenged ourselves and our staff to step up, and it's been a great win-win. And that's probably the major reason why this has been sustainable.
We were lucky in some respects. We had a good manager in George Jarvis, and we had an excellent plumber, master plumber, and Greg. Both were very committed to the proposal that we work on traps.
The value to me personally, I think for the university certainly, was to see for the first time that with the steam trap management program, instead of this projected increase in steam demand, that through managing our usage on campus, seeing where the steam's going, fixing the leaks in the system, that steam demand for the first time was starting to go down, and we were starting to see the value of investing in more demand side management than on the generation side.
The TRAP program has been in existence for 23 years, going back to 1988. At that point in time, we recorded a trap failure rate of 26%. We've been told that the industry standard without a trap maintenance program hovers around 20 to 25%. 6 years later, we had dropped our failure rate to 10%, and most recently in 2009, we broke the 5% failure rate down to 4.57. In order to keep that percentage in a downward trend, our philosophy is to continue the trap maintenance program on a yearly basis, try to refine the areas where we are having a larger failure rate depending on the type of traps we have, and try to focus on whether it's technology upgrade, whether it's more frequent testing, and move in that direction to even lower it further.
Documentation is a very integral part of any energy savings project. We have a fiduciary responsibility to our Board of Trustees that when we make capital expenditures, we've got to be able to document the fact that we are saving money in the long run, especially in these times of tight resources.
Documentation is through a program that we have on campus, which we use. From the documentation, it does calculate our cost avoidance. That cost avoidance is shared with senior leadership that shows you the amount of savings that is incurred or experienced through that process. And that savings is real, and through those executive reports and those sharing with the senior leadership, it justifies why we need to continue this program and why this program is actually providing us real savings.
For really what was a relatively inexpensive investment compared to what we were getting as a result, the rate of return was really incredible. Paybacks were on the order of months and not years at that point. After, I think, the second year or maybe the first year, we took some of those results, compiled them in reports, submitted it to the governor's office, and were recognized with a Governor's Energy Award for those efforts and the results we were getting. It was fun there the first couple of years to see that and to see what the potential of this program. I think that's what maybe management was seeing too, that wow, there's some serious opportunities here.
In addition to the hard dollar savings that we realized through this program, there are the non-tangibles, such as the holistic building-wide trap program inspection, the creature comfort, the optimization of the systems. So it's not just the hard value, there are side benefits for it which are beneficial to everybody.
Any large organization that has a large infrastructure has to start somewhere. And I think any organization, in particular higher education, has to take a look at the business model. And it's so important to get something started by showing a chief facility officer or showing a chief business officer that there is a successful financial model to get something started. There is a reasonable return on investment. And that's how this program gets started, basically, and that's how others can get started. But once you get it started, unfortunately, a lot of people take a look at that, and we've already saved that money. And then it turns not into an annual savings, it's a cost avoidance. So the question really is how do we sustain the cost avoidance when you already had the one-time cost savings in year 1 or year 2, and if we stop the program or slow it down, those gains from early years will turn into losses moving forward, and that's not good financially. And then we need to share and celebrate those numbers with the people that are involved with the program.
Students are a big part of the maintenance/engineering department. We use students in many aspects in order to make this program efficient. We use students to enter data that I spoke of as far as documentation. So they print the reports and they also enter the data that comes back from the field. We also utilize students to provide executive reports and summaries so that those summaries can be shared with senior leadership.
Western has taken an approach, and with our senior leadership today, a really tremendous and unique strategy that builds kind of continuous improvement into everything that we're doing relating to this notion of sustainability and improving quality of life for all.
You could save a lot of money being green, and we've proved it. And we just make a point of setting aside dollars that we build into our recharge rates for our utilities internally to plow back into more energy-saving projects. And it's a compounding effect that has yielded tens of millions of dollars for Western Michigan University.
If we had not developed a trap maintenance program or proactive maintenance program for our traps, our systems would be completely inefficient. We'd be replacing components within the system because of failure and traps blowing through. We would not have the heat transfer that we need through our heat exchangers. Our coils would be failing, and we'd be replacing coils in the middle of the winter, which would be ridiculous. So it's just the whole gambit of it, of the benefit of having a trap program, comes into play as far as in the buildings and our systems and as a whole.
We've worked with many vendors over the years, and many of them produce and they support us over time, but there are just a handful in my 31-year career in facilities that you can really count on certain vendors. When there's an issue and a problem, they step up. When we have a need, they step up. We want to save money, they give us advice, and they step up. So we've had a great relationship with Armstrong over the years, and it's one that we cherish. We don't take for granted because we see many of them come and go. But Armstrong has been a great partner of this university for many, many years. We appreciate that, and we certainly hope that over the years we'll continue that strong relationship. And so we've been very fortunate to have a great business partner in our region, one that we can count on, and one that has stepped up every time we had a need. And to that we thank Armstrong.
I think we're all, looking back in hindsight now, all very pleased. It just reaffirmed all the decisions we've made along the way. We all had confidence in what we did. We had documentation to support what we did. And we knew that with a strong strategic partnership with Armstrong, you know, it was a win-win for us. But I don't think any of us could have envisioned the kind of savings that we're enjoying now. And I would strongly recommend that any institution that's not gone down this path seriously consider it. The paybacks are very quick and they're significant.